What's up? So this is a walkthrough brief I did for MDR. The goal is just to kind of express what things are. So we did a threat brief on BlackCat ransomware and talked about some of the things they've done in the past, their history, the structure of the affiliate groups with the ransomware group, the operators, as well as like initial access brokers. So if you don't know, what happens with ransomware is you have a group that has a ransomware product, and essentially the affiliates are a group that wants to do a ransomware attack to make money, but they don't have the technical understanding to write their own ransomware binary or deliver the end of the product, and they need some support. So what they do is they get with a ransomware group and initial access brokers. So initial access brokers have credentials through a number of means. One, they have VPN credentials from breaches. They have, which with the VPN credentials, that gets you past all the layers of security, basically, right into the internal network, past the firewall. Otherwise, you got to defeat firewall defenses. And firewall defenses are arguably one of the best security tools in the last 20 years. Not said by me originally. Also, botnets establish some persistent access that they are able to sell to for the initial access brokers. But that's the idea: is you have a group that wants to do a criminal act, they want to get some money, extort a company, they find a target, they talk to the ransomware operators, pitch their idea, and so they're required to get initial access from the initial access brokers and kind of push that access up to a point where they can drop the ransomware operators can actually drop the ransomware and then be able to exfil data to a location and lock down the systems with ransomware. And lately, ransomware groups have been working more to an extortion-only model. They're not bothering with ransomware anymore. That comes into play that BlackCat, supposedly the United States government has a decryptor for BlackCat ransomware now. So that would lessen their product, but they can still do extortion. So that's still playing out. So we'll see where that goes. But I wanted to display a very crude lore here. So we're actually required to YubiKeys right now. And the reason that you say that is, and the reason you do that as a threat actor is, you need something to drive somebody to click on that image. Because when they do that, what it's going to do is download a malicious HTA file, which I generated through Cobalt Strike. So it's a Cobalt Strike payload that is going to beacon out to my Cobalt Strike instance and create initial access. So I'm just going to go ahead and show this real quick. I've already done it, so you may see it in the lab already. There it goes. My defender's kicking in, so I got to manually go do there and do keep. Just pretend that it was evasive enough to bypass defender, and then we'll go to CrowdStrike, or not CrowdStrike, Cobalt Strike, and so we have initial access right here. So we'll go to it. So first thing I want to talk about is the sleep timer. The sleep timer right here. So what that means is that payload beacon on the host of the victim is going to reach out every minute. Now, if you're going to try to be stealthy, you want to extend that over time, because when newer SOC analysts are looking at cases, they're looking like all these events that happened. What's the parent process? Were things downloaded that spawn these processes that are suspicious? Did that happen in a short amount of time? So if you extend that timeout, it's not going to fire off as much detections in a row. It may evade some things. It also makes it harder when people do an investigation to see if it's a false positive or a true positive. You may be able to defeat that process as well. But what you do is you come in here, and I should have done this first. Just for us showing this off, we're changing the sleep timer to 5 seconds. So now you can see every 5 seconds, see where the last column, it tells you how long it's been since this beacon is checked in. So all these are within 5 seconds. This one is now every 5 seconds it's checking in. I also showed, we'll start here. So payloads, for example, I did an HTML application. That's what this is. And then you can do an office macro. You pick the listener. So this is what it's going to beacon out to. So you have DNS, HTTP will do DNS. And then it literally tells you what to do. Go to Word, go to view macros, change macros in the current file, change the name, create. clear the editor of anything that's in there. Literally click the copy macro. It copies the text to clipboard. You go in there, right click, and paste in. Close the macro editor window, save the document as macro enabled document, and you have a macro enabled document you can use in a phishing payload. Or a downloadable, but it's probably more believable as phishing. What are some other payloads? You have stageless and you have stager payloads, where it's like you download something, and then it's like when you're working SOCs, you see the .bat files that unload a bunch of files. And like one of those files is probably the payload for the beacon, but it's named something legitimate. That's what that is, basically. Attacks-wise, you can do a number of different things. Spearfish, scripted web delivery, signed applet, smart applet. But here we're going to go to the actual beacon. Look at a number of things you can do. Try dump hashes. We don't have administrative privileges at the time, so we can't do that. But just so you see that exists, you can make a token, run Mimikatz. You can explore. You can look at the file browser. Like we're in here, you can see all the files already in there. Those are those malicious files, .htas, that I've used to get the beacon. You can look at processes. So let's go back to this real quick. You can do port scan. You can see if there's, let's do that real quick actually. Ports scan. Says that the target is alive. It determines that through ARP. And so it's finding multiple targets. You got .40, .50. 50 is the one that we're on. And the next it should go into ports, but we won't wait on that. Lastly, what I showed is going to the process list. You also got a .250 that's alive. And that's right here, actually. I think it's locked up again. It was doing this earlier. Anyway, so that's the general idea is, so like on the process list, I have photos open right now, and I just showed, and I wish it would do it, but it's all locked up right now. But basically, you're able to go in there, pick a process, inject into the process. What that does is everything you do from then on, you can get rid of the other beacon. And everything you do from then on is a peer-to-peer beacon that is running through a process. So everything that spawns as a child process, like for example, if we were dump hashes, would be coming from that photos.exe process. And so it's just better evasion, and hopefully the idea is to fly under the hood. Lastly, I talked about Anydesk. So Anydesk is a remote management tool. A lot of organizations use it, especially enterprises, where their IT department needs to do some sort of troubleshooting. So they'll use an RMM like Anydesk or Screen Connect. And these have a lot of great functionality. You can do file transfers on them. As you can see, I transferred 2 folders and 3 files. Let's see if we can do that real quick. It looks like I maybe lost the session. Yes, looks like. Go ahead and accept it on the victim side. And then you see, like, I'm an RDB screen. Go to start menu right there. Other things that I can do, you can come over here to files, and you can move files. Like I've moved Zoom over here. I moved the YubiKey over here. Let's see if we can move a file from over here. Let's do this. Let's download, and now that's over there. So, and I think, typically with threat actors, they're going to use Anydesk to do lateral movement and persistence. One way could be that you didn't just see all that. My bad. So what you can see, I did download, and then it moved the file over there. So this is the victim virtual machine, and this is my host, just to show off. And I've moved some other files. I moved YubiKey over here. I moved the whole Zoom folder. This version over here. But so you can use Anydesk for persistence. You can even use it as initial access vector. You can do social engineering. You convince somebody in order to do troubleshooting, you'll call them up, say you're from IT, you're contracted. hey, I need you to download this and give me access in order for me to fix the problem. They want that to be done, so they do it, and then they have access, basically to do whatever with their system, do lateral movement to another computer, maybe even send an email, like a phishing email. There's a number, and then that's one thing is like when you're sending emails internally, it registers as coming from internally, so the email security and security in general handles that differently. So those are just some of the TTPs that I went over real quick today and wanted to share with you. Hit the follow button. Let me know if you have any comments, and thanks for watching.